Hey guys, Ryan here. If you're sick of getting killed with people who have good movement like you're seeing in the background clip, then this is the video for you to hopefully help correct that. When it comes to your aiming, there's 3 different things you need to work on to have good aiming, and the one we're going to cover in this video is your ability to track and trace. So what you're seeing in the background is something I'd heavily recommend to do to start. Go into a private match, load up about 4, maybe even 6 spots on recruit difficulty, and to start for the first minute, do these 2 things. The first thing you want to do is you want to find a little area like this where there's 2 things like this you can aim quickly side to side. And you want to just start and trace over it in a straight line as best you can and as controlled as you can. Then as you start doing it slowly, you want to increase the speed. The second thing you want to do is you want to also practice kind of flicking to the edges. You don't want to go over any of the edges, and you want to just keep it right on those edges. By doing this, you're going to build up the muscle memory, and I would not recommend to do this for more than 20-30 seconds. You can do it for up to a minute if you really want to, but I would not recommend to do it more than that. The other thing is after you do that, when you start shooting bots, then start applying that tracking to it. Because tracking, obviously when you're facing recruit bots, they're not going to be jumping, doing the crazy movement, but they're going to be moving around, they're going to be coming around corners, walking, and you need to build up the fundamental ability to trace and track. Just like here on the doorway, you're going to see me. I'm going to be moving my thumbstick side to side, and I'm going to start going quicker and quicker. The faster I go, the harder it becomes to be controlled. But if you can do this controlled, you're going to have an insane ability to match your opponent's jump shot, to match their drop shot, and everything else. And speaking of drop shots, this is where I want to go into also vertical movement and jump shots. Because this is one of the hardest parts about Call of Duty. People jump around, they land on the ground a lot when you fight them, and this is what I'd recommend for that. You're going to come to a wall like you're seeing behind you, and you're going to do a little half circle. So this is what you do to practice against jump shots. If your weakness is you're always losing to jump shots, practice doing this. Practice aiming in the middle like someone's jumping to their left or right while trying to shoot you. Only do this for 30 seconds to a minute. Hop on, do this for 30 seconds to a minute. Go shoot some bots, and then just play for the day. But if you did this every time you hopped on for 2 to 3 months, do you know how much better you would be at the game? Do you know how much better your aim would be? Do you know how much more muscle memory you would build up because of this? And that's what I want to get across in this video. Aiming is something that takes a lot of time to build. When you watch a video like this, there's one more thing I really want to talk about, and that's your hardware and your FPS and your overall everything like that, because that's going to make a massive impact, and I can't coach that. The 2 main things I'm going to talk about are going to be your FPS and then the hertz on your monitor and the response time. So if you Google whatever console or PC parts you have into Google and you type, let's say for example, PS4 Warzone FPS, you're going to get something that tells you you're going to get between 40 and 60 FPS, I'm pretty sure. And that's the truth of it. You can watch YouTube videos and that's what it gets. When I play on PC, I play on anything between 130 and 180 FPS depending on where I'm at on the map and what map I'm playing. If you don't know what this means, that's essentially frames per second, and that's essentially the performance of whatever you're playing on and the way it relates to Warzone. So when I'm playing on my PC or PS5, I get way better performance than a PS4 or an Xbox One. And this makes a massive impact on your ability to actually be able to track your opponents and actually trace where your opponents are at. If you just think about it logically, if there is a delay in where you see your opponent and you are not getting as much images per second and as much frames per second as someone else that you're facing, of course it's going to be harder for you to track your opponent. Of course it's going to be harder for you to aim. And this is something you have to realize. And for your monitor, if you're playing on a giant 40-inch TV, I'm sorry guys, I know it's awesome, it looks amazing, I love doing it too for single player games, but for games like Call of Duty, you're screwing yourself over. It comes with a super bad delay, and there's no way that the actual hertz is going to be that high. They always lie about their actual refresh rate numbers, and this is very similar to FPS. The higher number you have, if you have a 144 hertz monitor, the better. If you have 144 FPS, that's better than having 60 FPS. If you have 60 hertz monitor, that's going to be worse than a 144 hertz monitor. That's the way these things work. The higher it goes, the easier it's going to be for you to trace your opponents, the easier it's going to be for you to track your opponents, and the easier time you're going to have overall while gaming. However, even though I'm talking about all of this technology and all of that, the most important thing is just focusing on your ability, your want to improve, and actually how to improve at aiming. If you genuinely want to get good at the game, if you want to stop losing gunfights to people with crazy movement, and you want to be the person who has that good movement, is winning all of the gunfights, then you need to learn things like this. You need to practice your aim. I wouldn't recommend spending 8 hours just sitting there grinding your aim out. If you have the time and you want to do that, do so. But if you're someone like me, you have work, you do a lot of other things, then maybe, just maybe, you should listen to what I'm saying about the whole 5 to 10 minutes. Start a bot game, spend 5 to 10 minutes every time you play, just shooting some bots, practicing your flicking, practicing your tracing, your centering, all of those things. You do that for a couple months, you do that for half a year, however long you play Call of Duty and Warzone 2 and whatever, you're going to be so much better, it's going to be unbelievable. I promise, guys, it's just like weightlifting. If you really want to get good at these types of games, start comparing it more to weightlifting, and you're going to find a lot more success. Anyways, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this video up. The amount of Warzone 2 content that I'm going to have on this channel is going to be absurd. So if you're someone who's looking to get better at Warzone 2, maybe drop a like and maybe consider subscribing. I usually don't do that, but genuinely, if you want to get better at Warzone 2, my mission is to help my viewers get as good as possible at Warzone 2, and that's my main goal, and that's what I hope to achieve. So if you want to get better, hey, I'm just saying. Anyways, guys, it's been Ryan. I hope you have a good day. Peace.